Dear comrades and friends, all of you know that a growing struggle of citizens are going on for 10 months in the country. In Delhi, it started on 26th November with the Parliament March against the anti-prison laws, welfare acts, afterwards the law, and on that during prison march, police lathi charge and severely lathi charge to even old prisons, and when in the cold season of November last, they severely after charging the cannon, the water cannon was thrown on them and to stop them. Afterwards, from next day, in 4 borders of Delhi, Jammu, Hyderabad, and other 3 places, thousands of prisons gathered, and from then on, from Delhi to Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, and Haryana, and other provinces also, this movement gathering more and more strength. It has been spread, and we are about 600 people have their lives in this movement. Is unprecedented movement of Kishans on that demands. They are called 127 September, you know. For this cause, only Revolutionary Party of India, our party, SUCI Communist, it also support the reform, and for that, our beloved General Secretary will address to the comrades and strong supporters how we should behave, we should make successful this bond and carry on this movement all over India. I request Comrade Prabhat Ghosh, our beloved General Secretary, to address now. We will start his speech.
শুরু করব। Comrades and friends, I, on behalf of the SUCI Communist Party, the party of the Indian Revolutionary Proletariat, founded by great Marxist thinker Comrade Sept Ghosh, appeal to all our comrades, supporters, sympathizers, and democratic left-minded people, toiling population of our country, to engage fully with their energy to make the bonds on 27th September a very successful one, as called by Sanjukta Kisan Morcha, and thereafter to continue and further the struggle till the demands are met. Comrades, this movement originated from Punjab in Indian independence movement. Undivided Punjab occupies a great place where one of the revolutionary party, Ghadar party, was founded. Punjab produced many valiant fighters in the independence movement, including martyrs like Kartar Singh Sarabhaya, Udham Singh, and Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh. As a spark it started, but it turned into conflagration. And just like a irresistible surging tide, it has spread the western and northern states of India. BJP-led government, who, just like earlier Congress government, is a political servant of monopoly capitalists and multinationals, applied all its means to destroy this movement. But this movement, not only a heroic movement, it is historic and unprecedented. Braving all things, police attacks, water cannons, tear gas shells, lathi charge on the one hand, on the other hand, biting cold, scorching sun heat, heavy shower, and deep fogs. Thousands and thousands peasants, old, young, man, woman, irrespective of religions and caste divisions, all are united in this struggle. Never before India witnessed such a struggle, which up till now almost 10 months old, a peasant struggle. If I am not wrong, we will not find such a peasant struggle in world history also. This is a long, stubborn movement, a struggle of life and death. And which is continuing with perseverance, patience, unity of will, indomitable spirit. but it is also noteworthy. Earlier, there are movements in our country organized by any political party or a prominent leader. But here we find no political party organized this movement. There is no prominent leader in this movement. It is a spontaneous outburst of accumulated grievances gathered since long. As government is adamant, similarly, fighting peasants are also determined. Government is committed to multinationals, monopoly capitalists, as they are settled in power with the blessings of their money power, media power, administrative power, muscle power. Earlier Congress government also in their rule behaved in that way. But BJP-led government is determined to prove that it is more capable, more superior than earlier Congress regime in serving multinationals, monopoly houses. Demands of the peasants, that is, repeal of 3 Black Acts. These 3 Black Acts enacted in the interest of the monopoly capitalists and multinationals against the interest of not only peasantry, but people as a whole. We know, as a Marxist, we know small production developed into big industry, and according to inexorable law of capitalism, it developed into monopoly capital. Monopoly capital swallows all other small production, middle production. Now we are faced with a worldwide crisis of imperialism, capitalism, ever deepening, everlasting depression is continuing. Indian monopolist also is faced with that crisis. So core industries, manufacturing industries are faced with the crisis of market. They are having surplus capital. What to invest those capital? So they are now out to grab agricultural production, overtly or covertly. They will grab agriculture and its production, its marketing, everything. And peasants will be asked from their owned agricultural lands. They will be turned into landless peasants. You know, already in this pandemic period, there were 6 crores 60 lakhs middle class. In this period, it is now reduced 3 crores 30 lakhs middle class. The 3 crores middle class already became proletariat or semi-proletariat. So, peasants, they are grabbing agricultural field, they are spreading their, they means multinationals and monopoly houses, spreading their tentacles in the field of retail trade also. There will be abolition of these markets and other shops also. Already government privatized many industries, coals, port, airport, roads, and mines, steel, the industries and mines which were developed by public money, as they are called public sector. Out of public money, that means taxing upon the people money collected by the government, was spent for development of these industries and other mines and everything, roads and everything. But they are handing it over to monopolists, multinationals, to satisfy their greed of maximization of profit. Monopoly houses needs, multinationals needs maximization of profit, not average profit, not marginal profit. To survive, they need maximization of profit. And for that, they perpetuate maximization of exploitation. Without maximization of exploitation, they can't earn maximization of profit. This is the law of monopoly capital. This is the law of multinationals today. And it is a correct thing, rightly. For the first time we find out in India, earlier all the movements were directed against ruling government. But these peasants felt not only the government, main enemy is multinationals, monopoly capitalists. And they raised this slogan. This is also something unprecedented in India. Earlier there was a movement a few years back in America, which is known as Wall Street movement. It lasted 7 months. That was organized. That was also a spontaneous outburst. That was organized by literate employees, unemployed people, and students. But this movement, from another aspect, also very historical and unprecedented. Generally, it is conceived that peasants are idle, lethargic, inert, illiterate, politically backward, slumbering. But those peasants are now organized and determined in a battle, who are more than 600 persons lost life. This is also unprecedented. In movements, police fires and fighters became martyrs. There is another scene, knowing fully that one may die, he is an old man, sick man, he cannot tolerate this cold, rains or heat, still in the battlefield and dying one after another. 600 people More than 600 people became martyrs in that way. This is the unprecedented in history. A movement teaches many things. Supports, defends, and stands for just struggles of the masses, just demands of the exploited people. That is our stand. Our party, from the very outset, movement is sponsored by this organization, Sangyukta Kisan Mancha. From the very outset, we engaged our party forces, comrades there. Our peasant wing, AIKKMS, along with our students, youth, women fronts, medical unit, as a fighters in this movement. Not for election mileage, not to have more MLAs and MPs, but to strengthen the movement, to make the movement victorious. And we also know movement, and only a movement alone can teach the masses. At the hour of movement, glimpse of political consciousness gleam in the mind, in the minds of the people. Flash of the political consciousness gleam in the minds of the people. This is the hour. A movement discloses to the people who are the real enemy, who are the real friend, who are the camouflage friend. It discloses. It proves before the people the magnitude of the strength of its unity. It widens the horizon of their political consciousness. It enhances the strength of struggle. It clarifies their mind. It forces their will. As a Marxist, as a revolutionary, as a student of great Marx, Engels, Lenin, Stalin, Mao Zedong, Siddharth Ghosh, we view every movement in that way. So, we think all sections of the people, here all the sections of the peasants are united. Rich peasants, middle peasants, lower peasants, agricultural workers also. All are united in a common struggle. And it is not only the movement of peasants. All of us need food. And where it is produced in agriculture. And if agricultural land and agricultural marketing is controlled by the monopoly houses, what will be the future? They will decide the market. They will decide the price of the commodities. And there will be more soaring prices of agricultural products. Will not the people suffer for that? So can it be called on the movement of the peasants? Firstly, it is not only the movement of the peasants of Punjab, Haryana, UP and adjoining regions. If these acts are applied, if this is not repealed, all the peasants of India will be affected. They will be worse sufferers. Secondly, people will be worse sufferers. So it is a movement for the common people interest also. My next point, in our country, we are facing that industries are being closed. Crores are retrenched. Crores of workers are retrenched. And more crores of young people are unemployed. That is the situation. What is the cause? Who is responsible for it? Again, it is capitalism, capitalist system. Capitalist system by exploiting the people, by quenching their thirst, by sucking the blood of the people, make the people so pauperized. So crisis of market. There is no purchasing power of the people. People are starving. People are dying. People cannot have medical treatment because there is no earning, no employment. Can you view for a post of 7 posts in a medical hospital of Calcutta? Post for what? Post for burned dead bodies and maintenance of crematorium. 7 posts applied 100 engineers, 2,000 graduates, 1,000 postgraduates. For peon post in UP, 200 something, few lakhs applied, including these degree holders. For sweepers in Tamil Nadu, similar thing happened. Very recently, economist Rajan stated that in India, out of 10 educated persons, 6 are unemployed. Leaving aside the question of semi-literate and illiterate billions of young people. So, for retrenchment, for unemployment, who is the responsible? That is existing capitalism dominated by monopoly capital, multinational. And peasants' movement is directed against multinationals and monopoly capital. From that point of view also, retrenched workers, unemployed people, and the workers whose service is still hanging, they must feel it is our movement. They must feel in that way. Students who are suffering due to privatization, commercialization, saffronization of education. Who are engineering it? Again, these multinational monopoly houses. Why? They are strengthening fascism in our country. For that very reason, they are out to destroy thinking faculty, reasonable mind, scientific bent of mind. For that, destroying the education, once what was viewed in our country by the pioneers of Indian Renaissance. They are distorting history, and history is rewritten, erasing the all factual facts. Mythology is being made history. Instead of science, sorcery is being preached. All these things are going on to develop spiritualistic thinking, religious-oriented mentality, blind faith. All these things are going on. Students also should feel it is a movement against monopoly capital. It is a movement against multinational. Scientists also must feel under capitalism, once these faculties, science, literature, legal system, educationist, all these professions were considered as respectable, noble professions. Capitalism reduced it, just like literate, paid wage laborer. There is no honor for them. That is also another picture. Again, I say, every day, as there is report in our country, many women, including teenage girls, 90 years, 100 years old women, are being raped. Definitely, criminals are to be punished. But can it stop root cause of this crime? Had India witnessed these crimes earlier? Why it is happening today? And why it has become a regular practice? These criminals, younger generations, they are the product of this capitalist system. They are the product of monster monopoly capital. Capitalism destroying morality, ethics, human values, because fascism needs it. So, they engineered to bury the great names and struggle of the pioneers of Indian Renaissance, Ram Mohan Vidyasagar Phule, great freedom fighters, Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das, Lala Lajpat, Tilak, writers like Rabindranath, Sharat Chandra, Nazrul, Premchand, Subramaniam Bharati, scientists like Acharya Jagadish Bose, Prabhulla Rai, C.V. Raman, Meghnad Shah, Satyan Bose, martyrs like Surya Sen, Bhagajotin, Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Ashfatullah Khan, Pitrata Waddar, all are buried in oblivion. Younger generation should not know them, must not know them. They should forget them. And they are dragged into drug addiction, alcoholic practice, blue films, sexy films. Sex is being taken just like a opium, alcoholic practice. In this way it is being indulged. So these rapists who are indulging rape, gang rape, murder, even father raping daughter. Ever India witnessed it? This is the advancement of civilization. Who is responsible for it? These capitalists and their political servants, those who are placed in power. They are responsible. These rapists, neither they are animal nor human being. In animal life also there is no raping and gang raping. It is a result of dehumanization of younger generation. For that also, this capitalism is responsible. And this peasant movement is directed against that capitalism. We must remember it. Our country, economically, politically, culturally, morally, in all aspects of life, heading towards ruination. And that society is just like a decomposed society. In family life, there is absence of love and affection, human feeling. Capitalism knows nothing but money, profit. Capitalists do not bother for the country, for the nation, for the people. They need money. Even at this pandemic period, you will be astonished to know how much they earned. I am to read. Hundred top billionaires of India at this pandemic period earned 12 lakhs 97,000 crores of rupees. And billions of billions people became unemployed, retrenched. That is the picture. Indian richest 1%, more than 4 times the wealth held by 95.3 crores of people who make up for the bottom 70% of the population. You just see how wealth is concentrated. 1%, they own 4 times of the wealth. What is wealth of 70% of the population? That is the position. And 80 crores of people, we are having a population of 136 crores probably. Out of that, 80 crores earns daily 20 rupees. And if you evaluate the palace of Ambani, lakhs and lakhs, crores of rupees are spent there. And there are millions and millions beggars in the street, collecting their food from dustbins. And those are foods left by the rich dishes of those wealthy persons. Millions children in the streets who do not know who are their parents, from which village or towns they are coming, what they are born. This is the development of India. So capitalism is the worst enemy of mankind. And this movement is directed against capitalism. It is our bounden duty not only to join, to strengthen this movement. It is a matter of pain. Known big left parties, CPM leadership is not fully engaged in this movement. They are only providing cursory service, customary service. You'll be astonished to know on 31st December last year, CPM General Secretary advised to settle the affair by a sitting of government, peasant representatives, and the monopoly houses. I am referring the date. On 31st December, 3rd January, Hindu covered this news also. 31st December, Telegraph covered this news. Can a left party, let alone a communist party, can advise in this way? But they advised. When government engineered a conspiracy, they engineered many conspiracies. First, they tried to suppress the movement, they failed. Then they arranged sitting to settle with the leaders of the peasant movement. It was a mockery of discussion. 8 times they sat. But they did not accept they only arranged sitting after sitting to press upon the patients, so their patience of the peasants are lost and movement becomes fizzled. That they failed. Then they advised Supreme Court for intervention to entangle them in legal battle. But peasants rejected this proposal. Then government offered, we'll suspend this implementation of these 3 acts for 1.5 years. CPM peasant wing supported it. Our peasant organization AKM opposed it. And Sangyukta Kisan Morcha leadership also opposed it. And movement is continuing. Has there been a unity of all the parties, applying all strength to strengthen this movement? Decision would have been a different one. One CPI, United CPI, although they are not Communist Party, according to our analysis, but they had a militant role in the period of 1950, 60, when CPM formed in 1964 up to 1966. They played a militant role in movement. Since then, when they were settled in governmental power, their face changed. Just like other bourgeois parties, they also applied police and fired upon peasants, workers to suppress movements. And since then, you will not find in India, they are having organizations here and there. They are not organizing any movement. They issue statement, they post some programs only to win some votes. All other opposition parties, anti-BJP parties, they are not involved in the movement. Because all of them, including CPM, CPA, entangled with many threads with monopoly capital. They are having election fund from electoral bond. Who is providing fund there? It is already published. All these parties are getting some more, some less from monopoly houses. How can they go against the monopoly houses? That is their position. Till then, we appeal to workers, supporters, sympathizers of these left parties in the interest of the democratic movement, in the interest of the left movement. You also join, apply your full strength and compel your leadership also to involve in this movement. That is our earnest appeal. Our party always, whoever organize any democratic movement, if demands are legitimate, if democratic-minded people are involved, whether we are in leadership or not, it is immaterial. We'll join those struggles, we'll strengthen those struggles with a revolutionary objective. And with this view, again I call upon all not only to make this bond successful, to continue the movement further, and for that you form struggle committees, peasant struggle committees in the villages, worker struggle committees in factories and barracks, students and youth struggle committees, women struggle committees, enroll volunteers to help this movement to develop your movement too. Without movement, without struggle, you cannot achieve any demand. If this movement become victorious, not only peasantry will be helped, it will weaken bourgeoisie, it will weaken bourgeois parties, the parties in power. It will strengthen democratic movement of the exploited people of our country. With that objective, you must join. And let me read some portion First from Shahid Azam Bhagat Singh. It is not so much known in our country. Bhagat Singh is called as Shahid Azam for his brave, heroic character. But of all the leaders of the then period, Bhagat Singh not only represented revolutionary current, he had a thinking capability to understand the class character of the non-violent Gandhian leadership. He exposed this leadership, and he is the first man in that period who called upon the people, knowing fully there is a party named CPI, but he called upon the younger generation to develop a Marxist party, new party, for anti-capitalist revolution. I will quote from Bhagat Singh. The real revolutionary armies, note this point, the real revolutionary armies are in the villages and in factories, the peasantry and the laborers. But our bourgeois leaders, that means Gandhite leaders, do not and cannot dare to tackle them. The sleeping lion, once awakened from its slumber, shall become irresistible. This is Bhagat Singh. He was executed on 23rd March 1931. On 3rd February, he appealed to the younger generation. It is essential for gaining the active sympathy of and organizing the peasants and workers. A party of political workers bound by strict discipline should handle all other movements. Each shall have to organize the peasants and workers. We want a socialist revolution. The indispensable preliminary to which is the political revolution. After that, to proceed in right earnest is to organize the reconstruction of the whole society on the socialist basis according to Marxian thought. This is Bhagat Singh. Just before his execution, when an officer came to him, he said, "Wait a moment. As a revolutionary, I am talking with another great revolutionary. Please allow me some time as one revolutionary is holding a conversation with another great revolutionary." Who is that great revolutionary? That is great Lenin. Bhagat Singh was reading life sketch of Lenin at that time, just before the execution. Bhagat Singh is the first revolutionary before his execution, raised the slogan "Inqilab Zindabad." So Bhagat Singh appeal was made in 1931. It took India to have a real revolutionary party, that is 17 years more. In the year 1948, great Marxist thinker Comrade Siddharth Ghosh built up only revolutionary party in Indian soil to fulfill the dreams of all revolutionaries martyrs, pioneers of India's Renaissance. And here, let me read Comrade Siddharth Ghosh, his direction. Be it a struggle on the question of solving the unemployment problem, a struggle for increasing the workers' wages, a struggle for democratic rights, a struggle for reducing prices of essential commodities, or for getting rice at cheaper price, a struggle of peasants, workers, students, and youth. Whatever struggle begins on whichever issue would have to be developed with an eye to the main political object of anti-capitalist socialist revolution. The ultimate object of all these struggles should be, that is, all these struggles should ultimately be directed towards ceaseless struggle against and confrontation with capitalism, and through revolutionary struggle to bringing about a fundamental change of the capitalist system in order to free the economy of our country, politics, production, art, culture, literature, education, everything in the country from the capitalist exploitation and oppression. If you consider this to be the chief objective of all the movements, then accepting the program of socialist revolution, all other paths are wrong. Then he said in another speech, at every stage of development of the society, in every country, it is the students and young people who come forward, being influenced by and imbued with the revolutionary ideology and being completely dedicated, go to the masses, rouse the masses, organize them in thousands and help them in creating their political power so that people, the toiling masses, can bring a fundamental change of our society by overthrowing the bourgeoisie from power, replacing capitalism and establishing socialism. As a student of great Marxist thinker Comrade Siddharth Ghosh, I appeal to our comrades, supporters, sympathizers, to engage themselves to strengthen this present struggle. First, to make this bond successful, then continue it further and organizing other movements also till the demands are met, and along with that, organizing other movements also in the interest of the exploited people of our country, in the interest of the toiling section of our country. I hope this heroic movement, historic movement, will be victorious and a new era will begin in our country with the victory. Already you have heard peasants of Haryana defeated their government. Government had to bow down, accept their demands. Similarly, this movement also will be victorious. And my red salute to all struggling peasants, my red salute to all comrades, supporters, sympathizers. Let me conclude here. Inglab Jindabad. Red salute to our great departed leader, Marxist thinker, Comrade Siddharth Ghosh. SUCI Communist Party Jindabad.
Comrades and friends, now we come to the song.
International. Yes, song, international song.
With
Come here.
Comrades, now
First, yes, song, then international.
our beloved leader, teacher and guide, Comrade Siddharth Ghosh, and then international will be sung, and then we will conclude.
যারা পারো করো, সবাই করো। ওখানে যারা পারো সেখানে হিন্দিতে করো, হিন্দি।
सर्वहरा पीड़ित जन को तुमने सिखाया क्रांति का गान, शोषित और कमजोरों को तुमने दिया एक नया निशान। तुम भारत की नवयुग आशा, शिवराज घोष तुम हो महान। हम भारत के क्रांति प्यासे दे रहे तुम्हें लाल सलाम। सर्वहरा उत्पीड़ित जन को तुमने सिखाया क्रांति का गान, शोषित और कमजोरों को तुमने दिया एक नया निशान। तुम भारत की नवयुग आशा, शिवराज घोष तुम हो महान। हम भारत के क्रांति प्यासे दे रहे तुम्हें लाल सलाम। आज भारत की चारों ओर एक नई जागृति, नया प्राण। आज भारत के चारों ओर एक नई जागृति, नया प्राण। जाग उठा मध्यम वर्ग, सर्वहरा मजदूर किसान। जाग उठा मध्यम वर्ग, सर्वहरा मजदूर किसान। तुम्हारी दिखाई राह पर मन में लेकर दृढ़ विचार, शोषणहीन समाज बनाने का करते हैं प्रयास। शिवदास घोष तुम प्रेरणा हमारी, तुम्हारे चिंतन से हम बलवान। हम भारत के क्रांति प्यासे दे रहे तुम्हें लाल सलाम। सर्वहरा उत्पीड़ित जन को तुमने सिखाया क्रांति का गान, शोषित और कमजोरों को तुमने दिया एक नया निशान। तुम भारत की नवयुग आशा, शिवराज घोष तुम हो महान। हम भारत के क्रांति प्यासे दे रहे तुम्हें लाल सलाम। उठ जागो भूखे बंदी, अब खींचो लाल तलवार। कब तक सहोगे भाइयों जालिम का अत्याचार। तेरे रक्त से रंजित खंजर 10-20 लाया रंग। 100 बरस का बंधन हम एक साथ करेंगे भंग। ये अंतिम जंग है जिसको जीतेंगे हम एक साथ। इंटरनेशनल भव स्वतंत्रता का गान। ये अंतिम जंग है जिसको जीतेंगे हम एक साथ। गाओ इंटरनेशनल भव स्वतंत्रता का गान। जाओ भूखे बंदी, अब खींचो लाल तलवार। कब तक सहोगे भाइयों जालिम का अत्याचार, तेरे रक्त से रंजित खंजर दशो दिस लाया रंग। 100 बरस का बंधन हम एक साथ करेंगे भंग। ये अंतिम जंग है जिसको जीतेंगे हम एक साथ। गाओ इंटरनेशनल भव स्वतंत्रता का गान। ये अंतिम जंग है जिसको जीतेंगे हम एक साथ। गाओ इंटरनेशनल भव स्वतंत्रता का